When I first decided to make this video, it was about a year ago when I was playing Final Fantasy X for about the 20th time. And I realized that every single time I played it, I had a better appreciation for the clothing designs. Maybe that's because I was more into fashion as time went on, but I never really figured out how to make it into an interesting video to talk about without me ranting and raving about something I loved. I finally got an angle that I think will be interesting, so here goes. A topic that's not foreign to this channel is the blending of video games and fashion, in which I've discussed in my Death Stranding video pertaining to techwear specifically. But the problem with relating that to this is that that game is largely about one dude as opposed to a whole cast of characters, which Final Fantasy is. Let's start with Final Fantasy X. Bear with me for a second if you're bored of the video game talk, it'll make sense in a moment. Tidus, Yuna, Riku, Lulu, Waka, Oran, Kumari, he's not really applicable, and Seymour. Do these characters have anything in common? Well, just by taking a look at them, the answer can be assumed. And I'll just tell you right now, the answer is in large no. And when I say no, I mean not at all really. Without knowing anything about the game, the appearance of these characters can tell you a bit about them. Some of you may be saying how their faces can add a bit to their personalities, but really? This game came out in 2001. What information are you really gathering from this? My point in this is these clothing designs for the characters aren't just strewn about indiscriminately, nor were they designed lightly, and what I mean by that is with minimal effort. There's real personality and style, a certain semblance to the fits, maybe not out of practicality sometimes, Lulu. But let's take a look at her, the flowing dress, the heavy jewelry, the numerous extra leather belts for sass, and the makeup to match. Now, what does this really tell us about her personality? Stay away from her, she looks a little mean, a little rude, a little, dare I say, bitchy. This is not revisionist history either. I remember playing this game as a kid and thinking the exact same thing, albeit in a more childlike way. With her eye covered, I knew she had some secrets. But let's stop for a moment and think about the implications of this. In a fashion show, there's a specified feel of artistic expression garnered from each show because for the amount of time that you're sitting and watching each model go by, you're being immersed in a universe for the sole purpose of clothes. First, there are the pieces, then you have the set, music, and then perhaps you'd like the models in question to look a certain way. It's all very formulaic. Is my example of this game that probably none of you have played not the same? Before the fashion elitists come typing away, art is art and you gotta have all the pieces there in order to have a show. You like what I did there? Putting jokes aside for a moment, just as the music is a backdrop to the garments present at a fashion show, the clothing is in similar fashion to the video game Final Fantasy. Okay, I'll stop making jokes now. Let's go with another game. Final Fantasy VII starts you off in the rotting underbelly of a city, the slums if you will. The immersion starts immediately as soon as you start the game. You're jumping off a train to see this blocky mess, but when you enter combat, your protagonist's clothes are revealed to you in better detail. Cloud, our protagonist, has the big boots, the enormous sword, the two diagonal blonde lines coming down at the top of his eye, giving him the angry look, so you know he means business. This part of the game has a lot of grit and grime, with the music emphasis being very down-tempo. Both of these examples add to the atmosphere of the universe you're trying to get immersed in. If you go on to ask 100 people what you need the most for immersion in any facet of art, the atmosphere is going to be at the top of the list more likely than not, and Tetsuya Nomura, the character designer for the two games I spoke about today, knows exactly what kind of garments each character should wear to add to that atmosphere. It's very easy for me, and I would assume for a lot of you watching too, that it only takes one stupid design decision to immediately rip you out of whatever you're trying to get into to begin with. Imagine if Tidus was wearing a suit and tie, or if Cloud was wearing some bright red instead of the signature dark purple and black look. Within minutes of playing the game, you're going, why are they dressed like that? It just wouldn't make any sense. If you went to a fashion show and instead of playing house music they were playing heavy metal, your face would scrunch up asking, isn't this a bit too much? I have a devout adoration and interest for something as complicated as a fashion show or a video game. Trying to put together something like that with artistic coherence must be a nightmare. Your skills are really being put to the test when you have to work with others. I mean, on a fundamental level, not everyone thinks the same and by extension will perceive art in a different manner. However, Tetsuya Nomura's fashion design for the Final Fantasy universes was and still is integral to their success. And as my descent into nerdiness on this channel continues, this video essay comes to a close. So I'm not sure when this video will come out, but it'll most likely be my first video back after my hiatus. I have some podcasts planned, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna come out first. And yes, I have a problem with my consistency in uploading, but I'm definitely gonna try to be more consistent. I will definitely get some more podcasts, if nothing else. You know, the podcasts are probably the most easy thing to make. So and I might have some little vlog ideas, like maybe some recent pickups video. And you know, I'm really weird on camera, so that should be a treat. But I want to thank you for watching this video, as these video essays are probably the most fulfilling thing on my channel for me to do. I love writing, so writing the script for these and seeing people enjoy them definitely brings me a lot of joy. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.